Good morning. I love you. How are you doing this morning? Shed a little more light on us, so hopefully you can see better. Let's start with some gentle stretching. I'm not a yoga teacher, but I'm sitting on my yoga bolster. I've mentioned it's a great idea to create sacred space in your home. So I have my yoga mat out and my little Mexican blanket I always have with it here by my altar that I keep at home, where I often come and light a candle and say my prayers, meditate, do some mindfulness exercises, read something inspiring as we've been sharing. I light my candle and I lit the big one again today, needing twice as much light. Or what did we say yesterday? This is at least 10 times as big as the little tea lights we've been using. Just set that on my altar. But yeah, it's just do a little side to side stretching. It doesn't take much in the morning, but your body really appreciates you just doing some gentle movement. Yeah, just stretching that out, feeling that side stretch. I'll leave more to the yoga teachers. My friend Rena Wren, tune into her channel. She and Courtney are doing an amazing work with women right now on wellness. But find Rena Wren, her music, her yoga teachings, her wellness teachings. It'll do you good. Now, when we started mindfulness, and also, I do have my cup of tea again this morning. I love randomly choosing a cup or mug and seeing what it is each day. Reminds me of Amanda Ellis. She's someone that I tune into. I love her British accent and what she shares in all of her videos on YouTube. And I don't know, she always has a cup of tea and her candle lit. I think I'd be doing that anyway. It's in my nature. But this particular cup, at the bottom of it, it says smile. So as I drink, I get closer and closer to that. I just have to remember not to put it in the microwave like I did this morning, because it burned my hands. It didn't this morning because I know it does that, and I grabbed a pot holder, but that's being mindful and learning from life's experiences. Got a little ginger aid this morning. Yesterday I was trying to remember the brand of the tea I was drinking, peppermint with a probiotic in it. And it's this traditional medicinals. And I really like this brand. And there's usually a proverb or a saying or something on the back of each one. It says, this one today says, plant kindness and gather love. Plant kindness and gather love. I like that. Even though we read, I think just yesterday we read about people not being nice in the awareness book. Y'all, when I started the channel, I obviously was reading awareness. If you're tuning in for the first time today, my dear friend Rena Wren, who I've already mentioned in this video, gifted me this for my birthday. And I turned around and gifted one to my dear friend Buddy Case, guitarist for 10 Penny Gypsy. And it's Anthony de Mello, Awareness, the Perils and Opportunities of Reality. I often need, I was motivated to create this channel to share with you the tools, my life tools that have saved my life, that have literally raised my very vibration. Everything, I think y'all, by now, everything in life, everything has a vibration to it. If you want to listen to your favorite radio station, you have to tune into that wavelength. Do people still do that? Yeah, I hope so. Those of you who already know me know that I'm also a singer-songwriter in 10 Penny Gypsy. Our second album came out July 10th of 2020. And we've been so blessed by the attention that we're getting. And we did an interview last night, which will be airing on December 15th on Facebook and some other channels. I'll be sure and share that with you. And that came to mind why I suddenly don't remember. So if it comes back to me, we'll come back to it. But I was sharing it with you, tools that just help me. I typically need the extra help in the morning. I have dealt with some depression in my life. a great deal of depression. I'm surprised I'm trying to soften that, I guess. Maybe for someone who's tuning in for the first time, there's that part of me, I guess, that still fears you'll judge me on that first. And obviously, that's not all that I am. It's not who I am at all. One of the things I will create, and maybe today, is I'm going to do a short video on just leading you through a mindfulness exercise. It's an exercise that I use with my clients that I work with. I have a private practice. I've been a mental health counselor for many, many years. And I've also studied with Don Miguel Angel in Merida, Mexico, a Mayan elder, just who's really helped me remember the ancient wisdom of the Mayans. And sacred sound, healing sound, and we'll be doing some with that. But I was surprised to find that I'm wanting to read from this every morning. It wakes me up. The mindfulness tools, the meditation, the mantras are a gentle way, often, of raising your vibration and contributing to your well-being, your wellness. But apparently we needed to do some deconstructing before we get to that, because this is the third video. I'm actually going to read to you from the book. I started this chapter myself yesterday, and I paused when it got too uncomfortable. Came back to it today. I paused at exactly the same place. And so I think it's probably something that maybe we need to share together. I don't know, I want to attract your attention to, I'm wearing, these are seeds. On one of my trips, I've been traveling to the Maya lands for the last 10 years, in Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. And I think I got this in Palenque one year. One of the little artisans that were working right outside the sacred site. And it just brings me back there. That sacred, magical place. And something else I wear close to my heart chakra when I need a little extra love, which we all do every day, to connect to that love that's within us. All right. Without further ado, Finding Yourself is the name of this chapter. I have to segue for just another minute. I don't think I'm just procrastinating, putting it off. But in our interview last night, they were reaching out to us because one of the songs on our album, the very last song on the album, Your True You, was written by me, but obviously performed by Justin and I and Buddy Case and Anthony Crawford, our multi-instrumental producer. And it went #1 in South Africa a couple weeks ago on the iTunes country sales chart. Pretty exciting. We're currently working on a lyric video for it and hope that'll be out soon, and maybe I'll share it on this channel. But you can definitely find it on our 10 Penny Gypsy YouTube channel and our website and so on. And I'm bringing that up because that song is about finding yourself. I had I keep saying she's a friend, and she was an acquaintance at that time. I didn't know real well, but she obviously felt connected to something within Rena and I when we met once upon a time. And she was traveling across country. She was from Oregon, and she was on that proverbial journey to find yourself. I kept trying to sing her a happy song because I could tell she was really heavy laden. She was carrying a lot of stress and anxiety about her life, and asking some of those tough questions when you're at one of those crossroads and you really don't know which way to go, which way is the right way, which way is going to cause the least amount of pain in others' lives based on the choices that you make or in your own life. And so that's coming to mind as we go to finding yourself. That song, as I kept trying to sing her a happy song, she kept saying, I'm sad, just go ahead and sing me a sad song. Because everything I kept pulling out from my repertoire at the time, reflecting my own life, kind of came straight from my journal. And isn't that where we share our deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings and the stuff that's uncomfortable within us, not necessarily just light and love and rainbows and unicorns. So it came out sad, but in the hands of Anthony Crawford, he knew that we were going to need some happy stuff right now. And so he took that ballad and he made it upbeat and I think infectious and now very fun to sing. And that song again is called Your True You. A little more ginger ale before we read. So finding yourself. Ready? Strap yourself in. I've asked you not to run away each time we read this book lately because it's uncomfortable. It brings up some pretty uncomfortable stuff. But that's our road to awareness. That's our road to awakening, is to seeing everything in us, within us. I'm going to do another separate video on shadow characters, working with our shadow characters. And I think in order to heal and grow and be the light and love that we are and share that with the world, we oftentimes have to make friends with our shadow characters first. So let's see what he has to say to us today. Anthony de Mello on awareness, finding yourself. The great masters tell us that the most important question in the world is, who am I? Who am I? Who are you? Go ahead and ask that question for just a moment. Sit with it. Or rather, what is I, as in the capital I? What is it? What is this thing I call I? What is this thing I call self, small s? You mean you understood everything else in the world and you didn't understand this? You mean you understood astronomy and black holes and quasars, and you picked up computer science and you don't know who you are? I'm not sure I understand all of the rest of that, so I'm not sure just who he's speaking to. The great masters tell us he's not talking about scientists just yet, but anyway, let's keep going. You are still asleep. We've talked a lot about being asleep and waking up in this, the third video, as we read from his book. You are still asleep. You are a sleeping scientist. You mean you understood what Jesus Christ is and you don't know who you are? How do you know that you have understood Jesus Christ? Who is the person doing the understanding? Find that out first. Who's the person doing the understanding? Good question. Good awakening question. That's the foundation of everything, isn't it? It's because we haven't understood this that we've got all these stupid, hang with me, religious people involved in all these stupid religious wars. Muslims fighting against Jews, Protestants fighting against Catholics, and all the rest of that rubbish. They don't know who they are, because if they did, there wouldn't be wars. Boy, hear this today. I don't always know where I'm even taking us when I pick up this book, and I wanted it that way. I want to authentically, organically discover what's buried inside me still, what's still asleep inside me. I want to discover that with you, so I'm not just sitting here as some authority telling you what you should believe, what you should know. I don't want this to feel like teaching. I want this to feel like we're on a journey together. Seems like yesterday he talked a bit about brainwashing. You know, if you see someone else as an authority, or if you go to me because you think I'm enlightened and I've arrived, then I have the chance of brainwashing you. Ask yourself these questions. Wait for the answer to land within you. Hear from deep within you. Hear the answer well up from you. They don't know who they are, because if they did, there wouldn't be wars. We wouldn't be such a divided country right now if we really knew who we all are, if we knew who the other person was. I've shared a mantra, since this is about mindfulness, meditation and mantras. One of the mantras, life-giving, healing mantras that I've learned from my Mayan teacher, Miguel, is in Lakesh. It's a Mayan saying, in Lakesh, Alakin, and it means I am you and you are me. And if I know that you are me, how can I not love you? How can I not see that you are just another reflection? We are all individual expressions of the one. I am not my brother's keeper. I am my brother. I am not my brother's keeper. I am my brother. Like the little girl who says to a little boy, "Are you a Presbyterian?" And he says, "No, we belong to another abomination." I hope you can laugh with me on that. But what I'd like to stress right now is self-observation. I mentioned I'm going to do a video just on mindfulness, and it teaches how to connect with your observer self, that part of you that's neutral and compassionate and non-judgmental. The chapter right before this, a couple chapters before the one we're reading right now, was on self-observation, and we may go back and pick that up later. But also the video, be looking for that if you're watching this long after 11/11. Welcome, by the way, to the portal 11/11/2020. Let yourself step through into something new. Connect to a remembered part of you that was already there, but maybe you forgot. It was asleep or buried deep. But anyway, the video, be looking for the video on mindfulness exercise and the one on working with our shadow characters, because in that we'll teach you how to connect to your observer self. Well, you are listening to me, but are you picking up any other sounds besides the sound of my voice as you listen to me? Are you aware of your reactions as you listen to me? If you aren't, you're going to be brainwashed. There it is again. Or else you are going to be influenced by forces within you of which you have no awareness at all. And even if you're aware of how you react to me, are you simultaneously aware of where your reaction is coming from? Maybe you are not listening to me at all. Maybe your daddy is listening to me. Phew. That one lands for me. Maybe your daddy is listening to me. This is important. Hang with me. I did read ahead today, but I'm still discovering this. Like I said, I read part of this yesterday and I could not get through all of it. Didn't even realize a conversation I had with a loved one yesterday. I didn't consciously make the connection that I was trying to share this. It didn't go very well. So hopefully we can revisit that. Because here it is. This is not my words. Although clearly as a psychotherapist, I know this, believe it, teach it to my clients, try to live it myself, try to connect with it to awaken myself. But here's another source. We don't have to call him an authority, just someone else's opinion. Doesn't have to be yours, but what does he say? Maybe you are not listening to me at all. Maybe your daddy is listening to me. Do you think that's possible? Of course it is. Again and again in my therapy groups, I come across people who aren't there at all. Their daddy is there, their mommy is there, but they're not there. They never were there. I live now, not I, but my daddy lives in me. Does that resonate with anybody? Who do you feel is like, whose words are coming out of your mouth half the time? Well, that's absolutely literally true. I could take you apart piece by piece and ask, now this sentence, does it come from daddy, mommy, grandma, grandpa? Who? Who does that come from? That belief, that thought, the words that you speak, the tone in your voice, the mannerisms that we've been hardwired with. True for all of us, me too. I'll never be talking just to you and certainly never pointing my finger at you. I'm talking to me too. I'm trying to figure out how to get the glare off my glasses, but Guess if I want more light on my face, we're going to have the glare too. Thank you all for just giving me lots of grace as we begin this journey together and try all these new things. I want to get the video just right for you so you have the best experience. Okay? Who's living in you? It's pretty horrifying when you come to know that. You think you are free, but there probably isn't a gesture. I just said this. There probably isn't a gesture, a thought, an emotion, an attitude, a belief in you that isn't coming from someone else. Ah! Isn't that horrible? And you don't know it. Talk about a mechanical life that was stamped into you. You feel pretty strongly about certain things and you think it is you who are feeling strongly about them. But are you really? Are you really? It's going to take a lot of awareness for you to understand that perhaps this thing you call I is simply a conglomeration of your past experiences, of your conditioning and programming. That's painful. In fact, when you're beginning to awaken, you experience a great deal of pain. I've apologized on one previous video, and I don't think it was an apology, and I don't mean it to be an apology. Again, when I started the channel, my intention was to give you some softness, a lot of grace, a place to come non-judgmentally, and that's still true, where we learn mindfulness, meditation, mantras, and things that increase our well-being, change our vibration, change the channel in our brain from maybe some harsh or worrisome or judgmental thoughts to something gentler. And we are still doing that, and there will be lots of that available on. There's shorter videos on this YouTube channel. There's walking meditations. I'm going to do a sound meditation maybe later today or tomorrow that I recorded with the fall colors and the leaves and the sound of my one of my favorite wind chimes in my backyard yesterday. I was afraid if I woke up this morning all the fall leaves might be gone, and so I created that video yesterday. So that will be available to you as well. This is the harder stuff. In order for us to really be what it is we say we want to be, love and light, kindness, harmony, balance, joy, which is our true nature, we kind of got to cut through. I'm going to say it. We got to cut through the shit. Excuse me. I'm not making these videos for children, but mostly they'll be kid friendly. Though perhaps either totally where they're at if they came to this planet still awake and aware and conscious, maybe more conscious than we are as adults, that have been conditioned and are asleep. But regardless, I wanted to also do this channel and not edit. I want to just share from whatever comes and trust where it lands. You decide what to do with it. Remember our proverbial trash can. If this isn't yours, throw it away. That's painful. Psychotherapy. Obviously, that's my profession. People come because they want relief. Of course, they want to feel better. And to get there, it's usually a painful process. Awakening is painful, but I promise it is so worth it. It's so worth it. There is no other way to live. The unexamined life is not worth living, someone said. I think I read that even again in here, and he quoted it a little bit different. He said something other than unexamined, but I learned it as the unexamined life. When you're beginning to awaken, you experience a great deal of pain. Exquisite pain. Exquisite pain. It's painful to see your illusions being shattered. Everything that you thought you had built up crumbles, and that's painful. That's what repentance is all about. That's what waking up is all about. So how about taking a minute right where you're sitting now to be aware, even as I talk, of what you're feeling in your body and what's going on in your mind and what your emotional state is like. I'm going to read that again. This is where I paused yesterday and I couldn't get past it. And I paused again there today because I sat to do what he said and it was uncomfortable. I didn't like what I was feeling and thinking. I was feeling a little bit hopeless. I was in the pain of it. I was thinking, oh my God, and nothing I say or do is of me yet. And I know that's not true. I've been working long and hard over a lot of years to become more awake, more aware, um, more in touch with my compassionate observer self who does not judge all of this conditioning, this programming, these shadow characters active within me. So I'm going to read it one more time and I'm going to pause and be quiet and let you sit with this. And again, know that as these videos have ended up being, the ones when I read from his book have ended up being longer than I imagined. You can pause and come back to this at any time. Please give yourself that permission, okay? You might want to pause after this question and sit with it. Maybe get a journal out if you don't already journal and journal about this. So how about taking a minute right where you're sitting now to be aware, even as I talk, of what you're feeling in your body and what's going on in your mind and what your emotional state is like. What are you feeling in your body? What's going on in your mind and what your emotional state is like. I'm going to pause us and sit with this too. Give you just a few minutes. Just in case you didn't hit pause, welcome back. I'm going to sit with the light again, the flame. Be present and mindful, shed some light on what's going on with you. I noticed when I took a break just now that I'm wearing one other necklace today that's very precious to me. I think this is the tooth, not an actual tooth, I don't believe, of the jaguar. It just represents that, to cut through what we're resistant to seeing in ourselves. I received these jade beads. Jade is just a precious stone representing love with the Mayans. And I got this from my beloved Mayan family in Mexico, Miguel and Hal and Trudy, and Luan Epstein from South Africa, and I, and others were there in March, and Luann and I, and then finally suddenly, I'm not sure if she pronounces it Luan or Luann. She and I went through initiation in March. I've been studying, like I said, for 10 years, and initiation just means like you are kind of opening a door and stepping onto, more fully onto your path, your authentic path, knowing your purpose in life. This is part of mine, to be here with you, to share these life lessons and these tools that make a difference in life. A video that I've already recorded that you can find on the channel already shows this aquamarine blue light around me that was present after we did a smiling meditation, a simple smiling meditation last week. But initiation means stepping into higher and higher levels of consciousness. And I don't mean higher as in better. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm, as I read yesterday, I think I read this to y'all. I certainly read it to myself. His words, it's like there's a great liberation in recognizing not I'm okay, you're okay, but I'm an asshole, you're an asshole. I'm as bad as you are. So let's, just in case you're confused and thought, I had arrived and I'm wholly enlightened and, whatever, but but initiation and stepping onto that path and stepping into higher consciousness just means being more and more awake, noticing as a human being what I'm experiencing, my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, just as he invited you to do here in the book a moment ago. Practicing with compassion and non-judgment. It does not mean I'm perfect. I'm far from it. I become more and more aware of my, let's not call them failings. I've already said, I've committed to y'all that, okay, this is the moment where it says our video size limit has been reached. But I think yesterday I was able to upload anyway, so we're going to keep going, and I think I just have to get a special permission when I try. Um, I'm going to pause one more time because that distracted me, and I want to see if I need to split up this video into two parts. Okay, we're back again. Now I could do a part two, which is what I thought about, but I'm going to trust that YouTube's going to let us upload this. And I'm going to trust that you took the break you already needed when we asked the question about being aware of what's going on in your body, in your mind, and with your emotional state. And again, if you didn't, go ahead and take that break now and come back to this, or not if you don't need a break. But we're real close to the end of this chapter, and so we're going to go ahead and finish today. How about being aware of the blackboard? If your eyes are open and the color of these walls and the material they're made of. I'm confused by that. Let's read again. How about being aware of the blackboard? We all know what a blackboard is from grade school. Well, maybe not all of us, but I had a blackboard when I went to school, grade school. If your eyes are open, how about being aware of the blackboard if your eyes are open and the color of these walls and the material they're made of? How about being aware of my face